What's up, my people? Today we are asking a question, a very important question, and that question is this: am I being gaslit? Listen, if you Googled that and it brought you here, you came to the right place, because that feeling of not knowing, of suspecting that there's shenanigans going on and that somebody's trying to gaslight you, it's a terrible feeling. And what I'm gonna do for you in this video is make sure that you know. By the end of this video, you will know if you're being gaslit and you will have practical ways to move forward from it. So stay tuned, let's dig in and smash that subscribe button and let me know what you think. If there's things you want me to cover, thoughts you have, I'm here for all of it. And I'm always grateful to have you here. So let's dive in. Am I being gaslit? The number one indicator of whether or not you're being gaslit is this. Ready? How do you feel after a conversation with that person that you suspect might be gaslighting you? If you consistently walk away from that person feeling either confused or ashamed because you don't understand, or you feel like you're just not getting, you're not leaving with a solid sense of what just happened, chances are you're being gaslit. Here's the other thing too. Gaslighters thrive off of keeping you just off kilter. So for example, some conversations you'll walk away like, oh my gosh, they were in a good mood. They were super nice to me. I understood everything. Maybe it's all in my head. And then the next time you'll walk away being like, what just happened? Am I crazy, or are they lying? Could they be lying? Like, they can't be lying. That's a surefire sign of someone gaslighting you. Because here's what, and this is important for you to actually do some thinking about. You need to consider, what do you believe you are entitled to in a relationship at work, right? And everybody's got to have their own Bill of Rights, but I think things that should be on your list of things that you are entitled to in a work relationship, things like clarity around mission, clarity around assignment, clarity around expectations. Something else I think you're entitled to is you should be able to give constructive feedback without fear of reprisal or punishment. And you should be able to receive tough feedback. Sometimes people receive tough feedback and it hurts and they're like, oh, I'm being gaslit. That's not gaslighting. That's somebody telling you the consequence of something you did or said. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but they need to be able to communicate with you directly about things you've done that are good or bad. That's just work. We've all got to be open to feedback. But what is a violation is when somebody's like, I'm not going to give you clarity. You should know that already. Anybody who uses that phrase, you should know, you should understand, you should have gotten to where I concluded. That word should, don't be shoulding all over yourselves. Seriously, the word should is kind of a lazy person's way of managing. If I have to say you should have known, or you should have done, or you should have understood what I said, it is actually allowing me to shame another person for not having my act together. That's gaslighting. Because what I'm doing is, instead of honoring like, oh my gosh, this person doesn't understand the assignment, I'm going to explain it to them. Instead, I'm projecting all of that onto them and making them wrong. A good manager, a good coworker is going to say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry you're confused. Like, let's talk about it. Let's clarify. Or, you're confused. I know it's not great. It's a really tricky, amorphous project, and we're all sort of feeling around in the dark. But if you can be okay with a little bit of confusion, we're going to find our way one step at a time. That's perfectly fine. What's not fine is, what do you mean you're confused? Where'd you say you went to college? Do you actually suck? Right? That's gaslighting. That's trying to talk someone out of their need to understand something with greater clarity. Gaslighting. But here's something really, really important. Even if you check in with yourself and you're like, God, I feel confused coming out of those conversations. God, I feel bad coming out of those conversations. You may still need to get a second opinion. My girlfriend Susie, back in the day when we were roommates, before kids, before marriage, before all the things, we had this joke where we would be out shopping and she would like pull out a dress and go like, is this cute, or have I been in Germany for too long? Because she spent a bunch of time in Germany. And the fashion senses were different over there back in those days. And so it was this shorthand phrase to say, can you tell me if I'm crazy or not? And we would use it all the time for all different circumstances. My point is, you need a friend that you can be like, is this, or have I been in Germany too long? Like, am I being gaslit here? Or am I being overly sensitive? Or am I not showing up prepared? You need to find a friend, a colleague, someone you trust who is capable of speaking truth to you even when it hurts, and who's also capable of helping you get better. Don't pick somebody who has an axe to grind with you, who's jealous of you or doesn't really like you. Like, that's not your person. Pick a ride or die that's going to be there in the good and the bad, right? As Oprah said, you got to find yourself a friend that will ride with you in the limousine, and when things get tough, they'll ride with you on the bus, right? That's the kind of person you need to have in your life, because we can sometimes convince ourselves that we're the victim of gaslighting, when actually what we are is the perpetrator of a lack of preparedness, right? And we're just getting called out on it. And because we don't like to get called out on it, we call it gaslighting and we blame other people. Sometimes it's on us. And so we need those friends, those trusted advisors that can be like, no, that's not cute. You have been in Germany too long. Get your act together. You need to find those people. But here's the thing I want you to know. Let's say you ask yourself, am I being gaslit? And all the evidence comes back and uniformly the answer is yes. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh, how did I let this happen? What is happening right now? Right? And here's what I want you to know. Everyone gaslights, and everyone gets gaslit at some point. It's not an indictment of your intelligence. It doesn't mean that you're stupid or influenceable or easily pushed around. It doesn't mean you're weak-minded. It means you're human. And it means you may have gotten caught up in a communication dynamic that was super unhealthy. It's okay. What's not okay is staying in a victim mode where you're like, oh my God, I'm being gaslit. Like, what? Right? That's not okay. You know what else is not okay? Getting angry and getting combative and othering the other person, right? The invitation is to look at the situation and say, how can I grow from this? Who do I want to be in this dynamic? Do I want to continue to be the victim of gaslighting? Or do I want to be the hero in my own story? Do I want to be the person who creates a space where she can be strong and heard and understood and not confused? That's who you want to be. And those are the choices we make when we communicate at work. This is why I love helping people become better communicators at work, especially in gaslighting situations. Because once you get good at noticing when you're being gaslit, you can then get good at calling it out and stopping it. And if you can stop it and get the environment to be less tolerant of gaslighting, you're only making it better for the people coming up behind you. Now, let's say though, I do have to just give this a quick plug. If you find out that you're not being gaslit and what you're noticing is that you don't have a lot of tools for having hard conversations, I want you to take my No Enemy Conversation class. Go to noenemy.bronwyncommunications.com. Go pick up some skills. Go get strong. Go get yourself armed with the techniques and strategies you need to stay grounded and strong and authentic and fierce, even when the pressure's on. I hope that helped. You bring me so much joy. Thank you for coming and watching the video. And I will see you next time. Shine on, my friend. We need your light.